Hey guys, welcome to the episode of Old Reader, New Reader. Today we are talking The Punisher.
The Punisher.
Yeah, this is my first time reading
Any Punisher.
any Punisher. I've read one thing with the Punisher in it, and that was
What was that?
War of the Realms.
That was your only taste of Frank Castle, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Really? Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, this is going to be interesting. So yes, today we're talking about Punisher by Garth Ennis, particularly the Punisher Welcome Back Frank. Now, that can be found in complete collections. It can be found in trade paperbacks. It can be found in standard edition hardcovers. It can be found in oversized hardcovers, and also part of this omnibus. It is the 12-issue maxi series that kicked off the Punisher MK, which is the Marvel Knights Punisher. So it's kind of rated for older teens, whereas Max is definitely 18 and over. So the Max line is different than this line, even though it's Garth Ennis, and it's still, some would say it's not in continuity, some would say yes, it is in continuity. So, but that is what we're talking about today. Punisher, Welcome Back Frank, by the phenomenal Garth Ennis and the legendary Steve Dillon. Popular, that combo was made popular because of a comic book called Preacher. So that's why they were asked to do this. As a matter of fact, Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, when they were both working together at Marvel, that was one of the things they wanted to do, was bring in those two to do a Punisher book, because they loved Hitman, they loved Preacher, and they were waiting for the DC contract to be over so they can pull him into Marvel. And as a matter of fact, Jimmy Palmiotti inked the 12 issues for Steve Dillon. So now we can talk about Punisher. This came out originally in 2000. Like I said, it was a maxi series. Punisher, it's had its series in the 80s and 90s, and then ups and downs. But they wanted to make it like the Marvel Knights. Like I said, it was more mature rating comics, more like Daredevil, like Guardian Devil, the one that we read by Kevin Smith. So it's a little more adultish. Maddie, you want to break it down? What you thought about this? You want me to talk a little bit more? Or?
Yeah, sure, I can jump in. I mean, so this isn't my first Garth Ennis I've read, but I haven't read a lot. I still haven't read Preacher. This definitely reads like it came out in 2000.
Definitely.
But, it's a definite 2000s comic.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what I was expecting going in, but I liked it more, I guess, than I thought I would. And I also thought it'd be more brutal than it was, and I didn't feel like it was. Like, even though it's meant for older teens, like, it wasn't anything like super crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the art's not. I'm not the biggest fan of the art. I'm not a big Steve Dillon fan, but I thought it was fine for the genre. I think Steve's art fits this type of story. But yeah, I mean, I thought.
So, did you say this is not the first Garth Ennis book, or this is the first Garth Ennis?
This is not the first Garth Ennis I read. I haven't read much Garth Ennis. You've read
his indie stuff, right?
I'm not sure. I've read a bit of The Boys, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it, actually.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if I've read, because I haven't read Sarah yet from TKO, even though I've heard I need to. I don't think I've read actually anything else. Unless I've forgotten something, which is possible.
Maybe. I could have sworn you had reviewed something by him that was independent. So, story of Frank Castle's pretty simple. It's been, portrayed in movies. It's been done in comic books. His family, he's a Vietnam vet, and his family gets gunned down by mobsters. So that is why he goes after all the bad guys. So he's a vigilante. And man, This I was a big fan of the Punisher. Like back in the 80s, I was a big fan of that stuff. Like during the Carl Potts, Will Portacio, Jim Lee era, Punisher War Journal, Punisher Warzone. This was so much different. This was like the title alone, Welcome Back, Frank, says a lot about what this book is like. It was him coming back to a place I didn't know he needed to be. It was done really cool. I really enjoyed it. Like there were a lot of new things. Like you don't really see, like you don't see Chip, you don't see Jigsaw, you don't see any of his supporting cast in here. Ennis makes his own supporting cast. So Frank is shown coming back to New York City, right? Like in classic Punisher style. Hold on, let me remove the dust jacket because I'm not a monster. I read my comics without dust jackets. And yeah, you know, and it shows that he's moved into this apartment building with three particular characters, right? Like what was the big guy's name? Bubbo, Bibbo, Bumpo. That's it.
Bumbo, yeah, something like that.
Spacker Dave and Joan. Yeah, Joan. Joan's like the quiet, mousy little girl. Spacker Dave's like, dude that's got piercings all over his face, and Bumpo's this big guy that can't get through his own doorway. So nobody really knows that this is Frank Castle. Everybody is calling him Mr. Smith. And he's just going around taking care of this particular one family, right? Like Ma Nucci's kids, like he's going after them. And he does this in such a cool way. Like she tries to hire like martial artists to come after him, professional hitman to come after him, and he's always one step ahead of the game. He guns them down before they can do any martial arts, pushes them into, the subway train. I love the guy that's recruiting these people. He just he tells them to jump out of the car on the interstate. He's like, man, if I jump out of the car, I'm going to die. And he's like, do it. And he jumps out and he's like, oh, like, I love that part. And he just starts rolling and he's like, oh my God, I'm alive. And then the truck just runs over him, which I think it was like Frank's, Tasty Frank's or something truck. Yeah, Tasty Frank's. In the meantime, we're setting up these three other characters that are their own vigilantes, right?
Right, like kind of copycats.
Yeah. You have this Catholic priest who goes by the Holy, like he is the Holy. People come and confess their sins to him, and he's like, he judges them and becomes their executioner. He takes an axe, so he starts hacking people up. And then you also have the guy named the Elite, who is a guy that's just going after pretty much.
He's a rich dude, but he's what's that movie? Oh man, it's already gone. Anyway, but he's like a really shitty rich white dude.
Yeah, but
because he's basically he's super elitist, obviously, given the name, but he definitely targets people for no reason. Like, this is a nice neighborhood, to the point where you're like, should you be bothering these people here?
It gets ridiculous when he the lady's dog pisses on the side of the building, and he's like, not in this neighborhood, and he just shoots the dog dead, right? So it's that kind of over the top ridiculousness. Yeah. Then you have another character, his name is Payback. He's going after all these companies that are screwing people over, like getting rid of people's jobs and just embezzling money, and he just shoots kills a whole boardroom full of these rich corporate people. At one time, Daredevil gets. I love this part. Daredevil gets involved. He's like, Frank, you can't go after the Nucci, one of the Nucci sons, like the last one that he was trying to snipe. So at top of a building, they get into this fight, and of course, Punisher. I don't know why supervillains don't do this all the time with Daredevil. He uses his super senses against him and makes this really loud screeching sound coming, from the building. Knocks Daredevil out, and he ties him up in chains with a gun strapped to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna leave it up to you. You can shoot me in the back of the head because I've got Kevlar on, and I won't get to shoot, the Nucci kid, or you can let me shoot him, and his death is in your hands. I was like, damn, that's pretty dark.
Yeah.
That is dark, man. I love that. Like, Daredevil's like, you can't do this, Frank. And he's like, you got a bullet, man. You got to do it. And by the way, if you've never seen Old Reader, New Reader, we do talk about spoilers.
Yeah,
just in
spoilers.
case. So I think my favorite moment is when he actually pulls the trigger. Like, Daredevil actually pulls the trigger, but the gun doesn't go off because, of course, Frank jacked it up. Right? There's no firing pin in there. So Frank kills the guy. Now Daredevil has this guilty conscience, like, I would have killed Frank Castle. And that's the last you see of him in this series. He will come back later on, though. This is probably my favorite part of the book, and that is when he's going after the family, and he gets taken. Like, he didn't expect to have so many men, come after him. Right? A couple of them get a couple lucky shots, and he stumbles into a zoo. Right?
Yeah.
And one by one, he's taking them out at the zoo, like feeding a dude to the piranhas, feeding another guy to a snake. But my favorite part is when he runs into polar bears. And the Punisher's like, what the hell am I gonna do? They're pretty docile, like they're pretty calm. This won't do at all. So what he does is probably one of the best panels in any comic book history. He punches the bear across the face like Conan punching a horse, pissing the bear off. So when the Nucci, Ma Nucci, and the other guy come, the bear just lops his head off, and they end up devouring her limbs. Like, she's still alive.
Yeah.
But she has no arms and no legs. Like, she is completely amputated. But, of course, now she wants revenge. So the rest of the story is pretty much these two cops that are trying to take down Frank Castle, trying to take down Ma Nucci. Soap and Molly, I think is her name, the other detective. And then Ma Nucci, trying to take him out. At one point, I think, she realized, somebody snitches where Frank lives. Like, they're like, oh yeah, the Punisher lives across from my apartment complex. You need to come and kill him there, because I heard there's a $10 million reward. I think they pay him like $10,000. And they hire this guy named the Russian. Right? Like, the Russian's a very popular character for people that have read this run. It's just this big, how can I describe him other than Garth Ennis over the top kind of villain?
Just a super big,
stupid,
muscular, dopey guy. Yeah.
Right. So if you've read Garth Ennis stories, you know exactly what we mean when we say stupid, big, strong, and just if this was a Max line, he would have done a lot worse to these characters than just break their necks and stuff like that. So he comes in, and there's like a 2-issue fight between him and the Punisher.
Yeah.
And I love that fight, though. That was awesome.
I thought it was a fun fight, but it was very long, and it made you feel like maybe I should have known about this character beforehand. I kind of got that feel because they pushed it for so long.
Oh, no, he was just set up. Like,
yeah,
that was Garth Ennis thing.
The effort that was put into this character, that was nowhere. I was like, should I
Boomer? What?
know him?
Boomer reader, millennial reader. I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X. Kevin Nash did play the Russian in the movie, the Thomas Jane movie. But this is like one of my favorite fights because the Russian's this over the top, super strong guy. Has no business being this strong. Like, we're talking about a universe where the Hulk and the Juggernaut exist. Like, this guy shouldn't be that strong, but somehow he is, right? So that doesn't matter. But the way he kills him is so awesome. Like, that fat neighbor we were talking about earlier, Bimpo, he lets him fall onto, because at this point, like, Punisher's still healing from his wounds because Joan tried to heal him. Spacker Dave didn't rat him out. So at this point, he's really weak. So he can't even lift a gun. He wasn't ready for this fight. And what happens is that, he lets Mr. Bumpo fall on top of the Russian. And he just lays there on top of him and suffocates him for 30 minutes. Yeah. So, man, that was such a he does a lot of different things throughout there. I love the Garth Ennis Punisher run. So then he has his final fight with Nucci. Like he kicks her into the fire. I love the fact that she manages to squirm out of the burning
Yeah, and then
building.
latch onto him.
Yeah, come down, like jump out of this window, bite him, and he just kicks her back into the fire. And you figure that's where his story's over, but he's like, it's not done yet, right? I think this is really sweet.
Well, you have like the, like the way he takes care of everybody back in the apartment complex. It was nice.
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, he worked it out with the detectives following him. He's like, hey, I've got, I got all this money. I'm going to keep it, but also I'm going to give you guys a big case. It's like a career making. I'm going to give you some info as a career making for you. And they end up working out a deal, and he takes his money and gives it to the 3 people in the apartment complex and leaves it for them to go and like start a life. Which then he wraps up right with dispersing, meeting up with his 3 copycats.
I guess, yeah, copycats. They want to make him like their leader, boss, right? Yeah. What do they want to be called? The Vigilante Squad or something?
Yeah, the Vigilante Squad.
Now, 90s Punisher totally would have done it. Like, totally, that's exactly where this was going to go. Garth Ennis Punisher, not so much. I mean, there's this whole speech that they give him, you're the guy that we look up to. This is exactly what you want. We're here to help you clean up the city. And, just he ends it with just a one-word answer. He's like, no, this is like, the guy's like, this is what you do. And he kills him. That's so brilliant. Like, you're set up for like,
he talks them to it because they're like, what's the difference between like what we do and what you do? And then like the first thing he does, like, well, he talks to the one with like the one that like fights more like white collar people, right?
Oh,
Payback, yeah. And he talks to him. He's like, well, like when you went in and did this, one of the people you killed was this woman who was innocent,
right?
And y'all fucked up, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it ended really well. I thought it's a nice contained story. I didn't like. I enjoyed reading it. I didn't love it. However, I thought it was a nice like first taste of Punisher because I feel like I could see a lot of potential stories, like really good stories, could be written with this character because I haven't read any. Right? And I've gotten enough about him from this where I'm like, okay, I'd really like to see something more in depth. Other than, but I'm also scared. Too, that I could see a character like this not being done well, too. So I'm like,
There's a lot of good runs. I think nostalgia goes a long way with me when it goes to like the Circle of Blood or Punisher War Journal. I think in all truth and like really the best run is written by Garth Ennis, and really the best run is the Max series when Garth Ennis is just like, okay, I'm going to do this. And no editor can say, no, you can't do that. Which is when he shines, right? I mean, which is why The Boys is so popular, which is why Preacher was so popular. Like, it's just over the top. Like, he's I don't want to say he's a very formulaic writer because there are some things that he's written that are a lot different. But for the most part, you know what to expect when you open up a Garth Ennis book, right? I'm sorry, I was cutting you off. You were saying something about when I said The Boys. What little you read of The Boys you didn't enjoy?
Yeah. Which we're supposed to still do like a read through of that too.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess I mean I'm open to it, but I'm hesitant too.
There's a lot of good stories with Garth Ennis' Punisher. Like Bourne was phenomenal. Even though it retcons, but it does a good retcon. His Punisher Max, my gosh, freaking awesome! Like a lot of the good, like the punching of the polar bear here is still one of my top 5 favorite Garth Ennis moments. Yeah, but man, it's a lot. It gets a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
Like there's a fight with Wolverine. There's a team up with Spider-Man that I absolutely love. Like he uses Spider-Man as a shield. Like there's a villain, I can't remember who the villain is, like just beating the crap out of the Punisher. So he ends up just beating the crap out of Spider-Man. When Spider-Man comes to his senses, he's like, what happened? And Punisher's like, oh man, we had a team up. You were amazing. Like, we fought the bad guy. We won. I love that part.
Okay, so is this? I never know how to say. I wish I could click everybody's comments because I never know if it's like Shonda So UK or if it's like Shonda Sook or like what your username is. But
Oh yeah. Chan, I always mess it up, I'm sure.
yeah, they said that they felt like he was Ennis was more reined in during the Max series, which is why it was good. And Unhinged Ennis was the boys, so it's not like the boys was more like very edgelord stuff. So I'm interested then.
See, that's the way I feel about Hitman, or Hitman. He definitely had to contain a lot of the things he wanted to do with that because he was working with DC superheroes. Like you can't have these type of stories with Superman or Batman, but he made it work. There's this awesome fight with Wolverine in the Marvel Knights stories where he just blows off Wolverine's skin off his face, kicks him in the ball. Man, I think they fight. That's right. They fight like little people, little midgets, like because it's Garth Ennis. That was an awesome issue. But I haven't read Soviet yet. I do have the trade. I think if it's the one, because that's the thing about Garth Ennis too. Is he's not done writing Punisher. He does little mini series like throughout the year, so it's really cool. Chandasuk. That's how you say it. That's it. Yes, I don't care if Wolverine is made of adamantium. Take this nut shot. Yeah, so awesome, so over the top. Punisher kills the Marvel universe. That it's an alternate timeline. It's great. I feel like Punisher does not make sense in a superhero world. I can see that, but
I think it makes sense for Marvel though. Like I'm okay with this character existing in Marvel. I guess.
I mean, he's practically Hitman. Like it's the same kind of character in DC.
Yeah.
Like it's that vigilante kind of character.
But yeah, I do agree that when I read him in War of the Realms, it just kind of felt off for him to be there.
Well, yeah, that's why I never understood these crossover events of Civil War, where he showed up in Civil War, like the Punisher. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, because I feel like this character seems like he's fine just being by. He seems like a nice character to have just by himself. Because just being introduced to him, I just want to see him and characters like that. I like seeing characters like that do what they do, and then kind of have cursory other characters that they kind of interact with on the sidelines, right? Like regular people.
Right.
And that's kind of all I care about with these types of characters. I don't need them to have a big group. This is fine by itself.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Smotlock. I try to get into that run, and mainly because of the art. What's his name? Ariel Olivetti. But I was not a fan of Fraction's Punisher. Kill Crew. That was actually, you know what? In War of the Realms, that was pretty fun to read, because it is over the top. Like the people that he takes in the bus, like he takes a bunch of prisoners. He's like, okay, you all are dead man walking anyway. Now we got to protect the Earth against these elves and frozen giants. That was pretty awesome. I think it makes more sense. The discussion between Daredevil makes this very clear. Yeah, you see that. I like certain stories with the Punisher. But yeah, as far as the big epic storylines, when the worlds are colliding, nobody really remembers Frank Castle that much. So, with your first taste, I don't think there's anything else we didn't bring up.
It's a super quick read. There's not much to really delve into here.
So you're not a fan of Dillon, huh? Don't like his art?
No, not really. I mean, it's fine. I think, and again, I think it suits this type of story, but I'm not a fan.
Okay. I wasn't a fan of his artwork in when he was doing Wolverine Origins, but I wasn't a fan of that story. But I think it suits this kind of story more so than a Uncanny X-Men story, right? So, did you like the covers by Tim Bradstreet?
Oh, I love the covers.
They're awesome. They're very iconic covers too.
Yeah, I thought those were really good.
So, Maddie, and then everybody else, Wonder Maddie, and everybody else in the chat that has read this, what would you rate this book out of 10? Just the 12 issues of Welcome Back, Frank.
I give it like a 6 or a 7. I mean, I'm not coming back from it like this is amazing, but I thought it was a fine read. I think it really especially these issues really wrapped up everything really well. I think it's a great intro to him from my standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Okay,
and
that's like a
cool.
6.5. That's a 6.5, right? I think for me, honestly, it's hard to rate this book because I know what's coming later on, and I know I enjoyed Punisher Max a lot more. But for me, I think it's like a 7.5. I think 7.5 is a fair rate. I've always been a big fan of Steve Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him ever since the Preacher. But it does take a specific kind of story. I think Smotlux said it best. Dillon's art works best with humor. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and honestly,
twisted.
I totally agree with this working well for Preacher. Yeah, I haven't read Preacher yet. I've watched the show, but that makes sense. This combination makes sense.
So I think, so to me, it's 7.5 for the Welcome Back, Frank. The other stuff like Born and all that, we will come back and read one day, and I'll let them know what you think of that. So let's see, what are we getting here? 7 out of 10, 8, 6.5. Give the story an 8, but the Max, I bought the Omni. It's a 10. Yeah, Max is awesome. Haven't read it yet, but hey, Hayden.
I love you, Hayden.
Probably rated higher than the 4 I gave Snyder's Batman. That's right, he gave it a 4. Wasn't a fan.
That's my Hayden.
6.5 and a solid 7. All right, cool. I like seeing all these numbers. I always like to find people that are like the exact opposite. Either they give it like a 10 out of 10 or like, this story sucked, I'll give it a 1 out of 10. Not for me. Like, I remember when I used to work at a comic book shop, there was a guy, Mike Phillips.
You're just gonna name drop this guy?
I don't know if he's still alive. He was old back then.
Okay.
So, it's not like he did anything bad. It was a good story. He only read DC comics. Yeah. He was like, I hate Marvel. I don't like any of the characters. I hate their stories. DC. For some reason, he did collect Punisher though. His favorite.
A lot of people have the one.
Right? They're like, okay, I hate everything, but I will read Batman or whatever.
Yeah.
His favorite comic book of all time was Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. Like, he loved that comic book, obviously. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And I asked him why. He was like, because he's the most DC character out of Marvel, is what he would tell me. He is the most DC character that Marvel has.
Huh.
And I thought that was pretty interesting because I thought Daredevil for some reason would have been the most DC character. If that's even a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it is so much so. 1, I haven't read it yet. But 8, don't like Punisher at all.
Oh, Hayden, I'm not mad. Old Angel's not very good.
Do you guys think the more politically correct Marvel and DC would ever make stories as edgy as they once did? Or are those days done and gone?
I think there's a difference between like edgy to be edgy McEdgelord and I understand.
Is that somebody's name now? Who's name dropping?
No, I understand like where people are coming from with this, but like I think there's still really cool, gritty stories that are out there that people are, seeing as different just because they think it's like politically correct. It's how it feels, anyways. But I can see why. But I think like there's a ton of cool, edgy stories out, or like I'm
gonna leave that question up just in case somebody's.
But I think let's talk about it.
Well, I'm trying to think of what was.
Or like, what stories would you think, Justin, are like the kind of stories that you wish were here now? I guess it would be a better way to kind of compare and contrast that.
Because as a kid, if I wanted edgy, I didn't go to Marvel or DC, right? I would go to like Heavy Metal magazine where I saw boobies, or manga where I saw like decapitation and things like
manga,
that,
yeah.
right? So I'm trying to think like because the Marvel Max line really didn't start until the early aughts. Like it was after the Marvel Knight stuff, and they saw how popular adult oriented stories were. And I don't. Is it still around? I can't even think. I think Deadpool killed it. Like Deadpool Max killed it. I don't think anybody liked that.
And honestly, I feel like if you're going like edgy, which is both of these are very weighted terms.
That's, I guess, yeah.
Politically correct, edgy, SJW, whatever. They're all very weighted, kind of thrown around terms, right? We don't do a good job of really like discussing these properly. Because I think if you look at it now, a lot of like DC stuff recently could be characterized as more edgy. I mean, look at the kind of stuff we've been getting this past couple of years, right?
Mhm.
With like Dark Knight's Metal and Deceased and Batman Who Laughs. Like dark, yeah. I think Smart like saying like dark. We've been a lot of darker DC stuff recently. Now Rebirth had like a very different tone, of course, and like
there was hope. Well, I think that was the tone. Right?
Yeah, that's definitely switched. Now, I will say that I will say that both these publishers have made effort to appeal to a more diverse audience and do things that could be considered less offensive. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it detracts from like cool, edgy, dark stories. Because look at what we've been getting from like not just them, but like independent publishers, right? Like we're getting really cool shit. Like what is that called? That really cool horror comic.
These Savage Shores?
Well, that one, but there's another one. With the woman
Tales from the Crypt?
No, with the Muslim woman.
Oh, Infidel.
So good. That's so good.
That was really good.
And, she like pound for pound or whatever.
There was something I had when they were talking about edgy, I guess it all depends on your definition, right? Because I really thought they were really pushing the. Well, you haven't read Identity Crisis yet, but I think we probably need to. I think come New Year we probably need to.
I still want to.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's an important part of the DC.
Oh,
it's held as one of best DC stories.
Got my boy in it. One of my boys.
I think by the time Blackest Night came out, they were really pushing the line there with their horror element. I mean, they were killing people in gruesome ways. So, see, to me, like, I don't need a Wolverine story to be rated R, like, to enjoy that story. I don't think that should limit the creativity of the writer, right? If anything, it should expand it, like, oh, I'm limited to this. Let's see what I can do. Because for decades, writers have been doing that. I think when you give somebody free range to do that, maybe it's a little too much, and then they try to get away with things that they, are just trying to get away with for the sake of getting away with things.
Yeah, and I feel that way with some, like, let's take Titans, the TV show, recently. Right? I feel like there's some titles where people think, okay, if we have a lot of bloody stuff and we say fuck a lot and we do all this is going to make us really, like, cutting edge and cool. But it doesn't always make for a better story either. Like, so I think some people, they try to lean too far away to make this.
And I wonder how well that did. Well, I mean, they canceled, Swamp Thing, so
yeah,
that was a mess. Is Doom Patrol coming back? God, please tell me it is, because that was like one of the best TV shows I've ever seen.
We're in such a big, like, flux. I need to get back into DC Universe too, because like Harley Quinn dropped. I want to watch that. And Titans, I don't really want to watch, but
it's got two of your characters. It's got
Roy hasn't dropped yet. So. But he's been name dropped.
Oh, so Barnacle Blake is saying that season 2 of Titans was great.
Really?
I couldn't finish season 1. That was all you and Amanda. I didn't
watch the final episode.
Why'd you go all the way and stop at the last one? You might as well just go.
The preview showed up and I was like, why are you doing this now? It's a mess.
Are you currently watching Crisis?
Yeah, I'm only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, me too. I want to watch the third one because then they took a break, right?
Yeah. So they're gonna
break 1, 2, and 3 this year, and then Watchmen though has been phenomenal. Like that, I can't believe You haven't
I'm
watched?
waiting. Well, like
It spoils
I
something big
I
in the comic book, though.
I kind of well, I've read it.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I kind of wait until like I have like an ongoing show I really want to watch on HBO, and then I catch up on everything from the past year.
Oh, it's over now. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's going to be a season 2, and the way that it ended, I don't know. But I never thought I would say, "Holy shit, Watchmen worked." Like, I'm the guy that's like, Watchmen should only be a comic book and leave it alone. Does not need to be anything else. But for some reason, it worked on this show. And this is Lindelof, like the guy that wrote some episodes of Lost, Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk, if anybody remembers that. Yeah, dude, and Regina Queen, dude, she is Regina King. She is Queen. Man, she is awesome. She should have gotten a nomination for something. I think she was snubbed. But dude, Holy Terror is another edgy title. You know, that was the story that DC wouldn't let Frank Miller do. Like a Batman story. So he went on and did his own thing. Kind of like the way The Boys, like DC wouldn't let The Boys use what was it, the Titan? No, they saw so many similarities in the Young Allies or whatever they were called with Teen Titans, and they were like, you can't do that. And Garth Ennis was like, deuces. He went over to Dynamite. They picked him up. What is up, Comics with Bueller? Bueller. Yes, you said it, my dude. Chan the Soap. Dang, I hope I said that right. I just read it. Let's see. I look at things like Image Comics where they're allowing more swearing, nudity, violence, but they also tell more stories dealing with depression, PTSD, and even suicide. Yeah, they tried at DC. Ugh. It didn't turn out so well.
I think DC is doing a better job of discussing some of these, but I feel like Marvel's doing a much better job. I think like dealing with like mental health issues, right? Like real life issues.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like look at like Unstoppable Wasp talking about her bipolar, and like, you know, they couldn't really show her taking her medicine, but she talks about like being medicated for that. And like, I feel like Marvel's done a really good job of exploring those types of things. I really dug it. But no, I think Image always does a great job. First Second does a really great job also. I don't know if people in the chat read that as much. I think it's an underutilized publisher by some of our fan base, but because a lot of it's marketed towards young adults.
Younger audience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but honestly, like, man, you've got some very great content coming out of First Second.
The few titles that I own by them are pretty damn solid.
They're so good. I'm surrounded by a bunch of them right now because I still haven't done my library review. And everything I've read from them, like, very well.
I've read it. And I still haven't. I keep meaning to do a review of PTSD because I really liked it. It's just I haven't done these reviews in a flash for a little bit because I've been kind of busy doing other stuff for the channel. So I need to get back on that, even though I've read a lot.
Yeah,
so thank you. Thank you, Larry, for calling me out, though. I did read it. Now I need to review it. Because I think it's a book that a lot of people would have missed out on. And that's why I like doing those reviews, because I like doing things that most people would normally not check out.
Ooh. Hayden, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of good characters that they can really utilize in DC. They kind of promised us that with Heroes in Crisis, but that's not what they delivered.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Because I remember like really hoping this could be the chance, because you have a lot of characters that are really going through stuff, and you could really explore that trauma, right? And then it ends up just being, oh, they're crazy. So, you know, let's make them not acting character, which, you know, Tom King struggles with a little bit. As much as I love him, the boy struggles.
He does, and
Smotlock. I agree. Heroes in Crisis was a waste of great art. Didio hates Roy and Wally and Dick. I mean,
he's been trying to kill Dick for what, 10 over since 2005.
Yeah.
Just the fans won't let him do it.
Man.
What is Jason Aaron going to write now?
It-
Whatever he
decided.
wants to, pretty much, because his Thor run is wrapping up, or it's wrapped up now. Donny Cates is taking over. He is done with Conan, I think, or is he still writing Conan?
Um,
Dang it, I can't remember if he's
he
off of
announced
Conan or
what he's
not.
writing next, though, right? Like, I was
No,
sure.
he is a Marvel exclusive though, so I'm sure he'll be doing something big. Hopefully, another Wolverine book. That would be cool.
Well, he was writing Avengers this past year.
He's still writing that, but I think that wraps up when his Thor run is over. And yeah, the man is just about done everything at Marvel. Maybe a good Daredevil story. Although I like the team that's on it right now. Chip Zdarsky's killing it.
I mean, I'll read anything Jason Aaron does.
Yeah.
He's basically become one of those writers for me that I just trust implicitly.
Jason Aaron's writing a Mad Maddie Max series. Is this Mad? Are you trying to make that happen again, Mad Maddie?
My brother-in-law calls me Mad Dog. I was like,
Mad Dog.
that's awful.
Very
Not a
flattering.
good name.
They're like a big
Tough.
wrestler. So next week I did forget something. Next week I said we would be reviewing Absolute Swamp Thing, and we totally still can. However, I can't make it next Tuesday because that's the big family Valdivieso Christmas thing. Because it's Christmas Eve, right? I forgot about that.
Crap.
Right? So, and we can't do it on Wednesday because that's Christmas. But I mean, I can because I don't do squat on Christmas. So, Latin families get together on Christmas Eve all the way up until midnight and go to mass and stuff and open presents. And then Saturday or Christmas Day is just for chilling, sleeping in, and going to watch Little Women.
Oh, I want to go watch.
Maybe I'm the only one that's doing that. Maybe that's my Christmas. Oh, I'm so excited for Little Women. Oh, I love that. I love that book so much. I've seen every version of that stupid book. You want to go with me?
Yeah, I do. Tell me when you're.
It is the best time to go at Christmas Day because you got the
Let me
theater
know when you go.
I will.
Yeah. Where's the comic for that? There's probably one.
Oh, there's a manga. There's an adaptation for that.
Ooh, speaking of manga, I have the first 4 deluxe volumes of Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service now. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yeah.
How'd you get those?
Well, I bought the first 3 off of someone in the group, and then I found the 4th one at Half Price Books, which I was there with my coworkers. They're like, "What'd you get?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I can't show you this." That'd be a good one to review next year for Halloween.
Well, it's coming back.
I want to review all that.
I heard that movie was sick. Okay, let's be serious. Nobody ever says Little Women was sick.
Dope.
Nobody.
Larry, we are still doing the New Year's Eve Drunken Sunstone show. I do need to ask Tina if she'll join.
And I do need to buy them. Damn it, I forgot.
Oh man.
Volume 1 and 2, right?
Do you guys want to see what's on my Sunstone calendar for December?
Sure.
Let me go grab it.
Okay. So yes, Christmas Eve. Oh, Lloyd, it's your birthday on Christmas Eve? Okay, man. Well, happy early birthday. So I won't get to see you live next Tuesday.
Happy early birthday. Look at this.
Wait, let me highlight you really quick.
No. Someone's going to see this. It's going to be in my face like, Maddie, we didn't know. Look how nice that is, though.
And demonetized. All right, go ahead.
Let
me hold it up again. Is that the artist?
What do you mean?
That's the artist. That's set. Oh my gosh, how do you pronounce it?
He's the writer and artist for Sunstone.
Okay, so this is what it's about. This is what I'm expecting. By the way,
these are the 2 main characters.
Okay, that's good enough. I'm down.
Love story.
Is it like Little Women?
Yep.
Awesome, liar.
No. It's so good.
Here's a good question from Israel. How do you balance your manga and omni reads? Do you alternate or just read anything?
I just read both.
I tell you what, if I'm reading a Silver Age omnibus, I will alternate the crap out of that after every few issues. That is some heavy reading sometimes, depending on who the writer is. And then that's what I like to do. I like to go back to manga It's like
It's
cleansing your palate.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Like, I like to kind of alternate between all different types of books to keep it all fresh, right? So, like, if I'm reading one of the like main two, usually I'll go from that to like more of, you know, like a first, second book, like spinning or something, to manga to whatever.
That looks like something I would enjoy.
Oh, it's really good. I cried. Listen, I just keep messaging Tilly Walden or like tweeting at her to tell her how much I love her. I was reading this in a Starbucks and I almost like broke down crying.
Oh, yeah, that looks like something I would buy on a whim.
I recommend it. Like, all of her stuff, it's so good. Like, this has been great. I also, where is it? She wrote a book that's basically like a space opera on a sunbeam. Have you read that?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. That good, huh?
Her characters kind of look the same sometimes, but
you get used to that.
And honestly, like, everything she does, she's
one
of my big loves of the year.
You know what I did read though was Injustice. Like the omnibus.
Are the omnibuses in now?
Yeah, they came in over this weekend, and I was gonna get together with you because we need to film our. Okay, so Maddie and I are gonna film our best of 2019 sometime soon, like best reads, best omnibus, best absolute, best story, best art, whatever categories we come up with. We'll do it. biggest disappointment. Worst collected edition, best collected edition, surprise, like something that surprised you that you didn't think you would enjoy, but you ended up really loving. I have a few of those, but we get to pick one from each. I'll come up with the category and then put it on our social media, and then you and I can film an episode before the end of the year. Best of 2019 coming soon to near mint condition.
Yeah. I should remember what I've read, which is.
Yeah, just gotta look on your shelf. That's what I gotta do because I gotta do the same too. I'm like, oh crap, what did I read?
So much from the library now too, so it's hard. Like, Kristen's always like, oh well, do you Goodreads or whatever? And I'm just like, I am not organized at all. Are you kidding?
Look at your shelves; they look organized. Worst binding.
Worst binding. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, there would be so many.
Sunstone with us. It'll be great. The trick would be to see if
we can make Sunstone sell out.
No, it'll be fun. I need to get Tina on it too and like tell her, because I think Tina should cosplay the main character because she's got that haircut.
The bangs.
Yeah. But
okay.
That's like the Dom, which is not Tina.
No, it's not Tina.
No.
I swapped to Goodreads. Best decision ever. Most social interaction too. Huh. I have not done Goodreads. I don't even know what Goodreads is.
It's like,
I thought it was a rating website.
It is. But a lot of people do that. Is if they keep reading all the books that they've read, they can go back through and see what they've read.
Oh.
And they can remember if they liked it or not. Like they can it's a good way to keep track of it.
I like to think my brain remembers, but I don't think it does.
Mine doesn't. But I would have to remember to do it after I read it. And if I'm in the zone, I'm just reading. And it's never going to happen.
Professional ass Tina. Yes, that is her name when she comes on the show.
No, listen, she's going to get on here. She's going to be ridiculous because we're going to feed her some drinks before that too.
Oh, God, yeah.
No tequila this time. Let's tub thump for New Year's.
Yeah, we'll get started early. Do a really we'll do a show. But more importantly, next week, let's go ahead and plan Absolute Swamp Thing. When can you do it? Because you're out of town traveling, right? For the holidays. Oh, you're not? Okay. So you tell me. I'm free. Like I said,
I think either Monday or Wednesday is fine.
Monday or Wednesday. Let's do Wednesday then. Christmas Day.
Yeah, because we're Catholic, so Christmas Eve is busy.
Yeah, so Christmas Day, Christmas afternoon, I think I'm free.
Yeah.
So why don't we make it like I don't know, 8:00 Wednesday?
Yeah, Yeah, that works.
Okay. Keep an eye on our social media, though, just in case that time changes. And I'll put it on YouTube as well in case it changes.
Answer, so Lloyd, I totally understand. Luckily I had ordered them, but I bought this at this calendar at
Did they give you a brown bag, Lloyd?
Charles, and I was just like, I grabbed it immediately before I went to the rest of the store because I was like, I have to have this. It's just me walking around with this, like, oh god.
Yeah, but see, that's the what is it? I guess it would be reverse sexism, where to you people would look at you and be like, "Oh, she's getting that for her man." Like any of us walking around with that, just like, "Oh, what a pervert."
I do get a little bit privileged with that. And Justin, I have seen Shepard's concepts for his new series. I'm really excited for that. It looks really, really good. I'm really excited to jump on that next year. Omar's gone. I'm curious how Omar balances work, family, the channel, and still manages to get reading in. I'm married with 5 kids, and I'm thinking I'll never have time to read again. Well, he reads a lot with his kids and family too. And luckily, like, he's got a position now where it kind of allows him a little bit more time during the day to work on stuff, which is really helpful for him too. But yeah, sometimes I don't know how he does it either. Like, I've got a full-time job, and getting all this reading can be really hard. Luckily, I read fast, so that helps. Sorry, guys, I can't click comics. I need to, like, fix that. Hayden says, so I did a little research, and apparently the Little Women book was a trilogy, and I think that is a movie franchise that could beat the MCU. Honestly, I'm down. I love Little Women, okay? Just very seriously.
Sorry about that. I got taken off the air for being too radical.
Too radical. But he means
like the turtle, right? Like radical. He got white plastic bags. Oh man.
Man, so there were some people cosplaying Sunstone at Holiday Matsuri this past weekend, apparently. And I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
There is a Little Men book. I didn't like it as much as Little Women. Maybe something's wrong with me. We are all little. That should be a t-shirt. That should be a shirt. I'd wear that.
See, now that needs to be the new thing. Like, you know, when Sex and the City was big, everyone would be like, oh, I'm a Carrie, or I'm a whatever.
I'm a Samantha, right?
We should be like, I'm a Joe.
That's the new thing. I like that. Okay. So, tentatively, Christmas Day, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when we'll do the Absolute Swamp Thing review. So join us for that. And we are for sure doing the New Year's Eve drunken show of Sunstone, probably around 8 o'clock or whenever.
We'll let you know.
The Near Mint Condition Facebook page helped get the Burn She-Hulk cover change. Between you and I, Smotlock, yes, David emailed me why they changed it. Apparently Byrne heard about it and he was quite upset. So that's why they changed it. There you go. So yay, John Byrne acknowledged us in a negative way, but whatever. I broke the news. I'm just a messenger. I don't make the books. I'm a Charlotte. No. Hell no. A year-end roundup. Yeah, maybe we could do that. Year-end. That can be part of our Sunstone talk, you know?
Yeah, that's
good.
True.
That'd be good.
I mean, the Minties will be around, so.
Yeah. Unless you're out, you know, like a normal functioning adult partying, like having drinks at friends' house. They'll be watching our show. Watch it later. I showed John Byrne my bad. You're good, man. I don't have Shattershot yet. Believe it or not, Marvel doesn't send me everything. I have to buy some things and I have to wait, just like you guys. So it should be here sometime this week. Believe me, I've been waiting for that damn thing for years. So I'm excited to talk about. I'll open it up. like, well, anybody that ever watches my overviews knows I don't go in it prepared. I just talk about the things that I remember, and then sometimes in the damn overview, I'm like, oh yeah, wait, no, that's wrong. I forgot about that. Jess is the Samantha.
No.
No.
I think Jess is
Charlotte. Yes. Good call. If the absolute falls apart, you lose. Thoughts on Joker and Harley Criminal Sanity? I haven't read it yet. Have you read that?
No. I'm looking it up now because Oh no, I haven't read it yet. I really would like to, just because only
solid
because of the cover art. But I'm a big fan of Carmen Garcia, though, so I'd be really interested in checking that out.
I'm going to Chromecast the channel on Christmas for all the family over.
Please don't.
Don't do that. I am gonna have a live show this Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, talking about like my favorite comic related TV shows and stuff like that. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And you're not gonna invite me?
I'm telling you about it. I'm telling you about it. I just remember. I'm not a guy that plans, dude. You know this.
I know. I don't either, so it's okay.
I know a girl that dated Mr. Big. Chris North said he was Mr. Small.
Not lag. Why would you do a guy like that?
It's messed up.
Come on.
That's messed up. You know, apparently who wasn't? Milton Berle. And that little trivia knowledge is where I will end the show tonight. Get that image out of your head, Minty.
Subscribe or like this, whatever. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you all for watching.